Welcome back, Raising Rain family. Thank you so much for your unwavering support. We see you and we hear you, and we always read your comments. If you're new, welcome. Hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new content that's coming out. On today's episode, we are joined by a very interesting guest from the Breastfeeding Association of Kenya, and I guess that gives away the title, which is Breastfeeding Beyond the Basics: Pressure, Pain, and Power. I'm going to let our guest introduce herself shortly, but before I do that, I'll take you through the Did You Know segment. Today's a long one, so bear with me and I hope you get a lot of information out of it. So, on to our Did You Know segment. Did you know that breastfeeding is natural, but it doesn't always come naturally? Did you know that many mothers struggle with pain, low supply fears, latching challenges, emotional exhaustion, and guilt? Yet, they feel pressure to make it look easy. Did you know that breastfeeding is not just a mother issue? It's a public health issue, a maternal mental health issue, a workplace issue, an economic issue, and a family support issue. When mothers are supported, breastfeeding outcomes improve. When mothers are unsupported, the burden silently affects the homes, workplaces, relationships, and communities. Today, we are talking about breastfeeding beyond the basics: the pressure, the pain, the bonding, the advocacy, and the realities many mothers experience in silence. Welcome to today's episode, and I'll let our guest introduce herself.
Good morning, Raising Rain family. My name is Akinyi. The other Christian name that the government knows is Goreti. So Goreti Akinyi is my name. I am a nurse, a midwife, with a subspecialty training in maternal infant care. I am a childbirth educator, a lactation specialist, a doula who works with moms during birth, and a postpartum doula. So I work with moms, expectant moms, through the whole journey of pregnancy, childbirth, and breastfeeding. Today I'm here courtesy of Breastfeeding and Beyond, the basics beyond breastfeeding, and also to just highlight more on what else after breastfeeding, then what?
Mm.
How does breastfeeding come about, and where are most women feeling the burden, and how it can be relieved? I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 4 children, and they all breastfed. So I believe that my knowledge and my experience as a mom will also work it will make it relatable to the moms and all the struggles that the moms could be going through. Other than this that I do today, I'm a mom of swimmers and a mom of a footballer.
Wow.
So when I'm not doing this, I am a big cheerleader of my children's talent. So I know maybe you have met me out there screaming my lungs out. And yes, let's talk about breastfeeding today.
Wow, so many hats.
Yeah,
Yes, you're most welcome.
thank you so much.
Thank you for agreeing to come on the show.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to a very insightful episode. Um, on today's question, I think the first question would have been, for what you tell us what you do outside your work, and I think you've answered that when you were introducing yourself.
Yes.
Unless you have something to add on to that.
Outside the work, which being a mom is also one of them that I just alluded to, what I do outside the work.
Mhm.
I'm also a psychosocial support person and a focal point person for a society, a registered society known as Multiple Blessings Society. Courtesy of being a mother of twins, we have a society that we come together as families to support one another. My parents, families that have had twins, triplets, quadruplets, and even sextuplets. We
Mhm.
have one who's had six
Wow.
babies. So I coordinate the psychosocial support, and that basically means their well being. And that coupled with supporting them emotionally, we also support them physically. And physically, I mean their physical needs
Mhm.
that the babies and the families need to thrive. And that would mean continuously talking to the members of our society to mobilize resources, which is not only monetary, but also hand-me-downs of equipment, baby stuff that can support a new mom. Yeah. So outside what I
Wow.
do when I'm not doing this, I do coordination for the society.
That sounds so wholesome.
Yeah.
And you sound like you're very passionate about it.
Oh, thank
That,
you.
and it has given me an idea for another podcast episode. I've never thought about what it's like to raise more than one child at once.
I can walk you through that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's another conversation we can have.
All right.
And you're most welcome to join us on the next one.
Thank you.
On to the second question. I guess I would ask what led you into this work of supporting mothers and the breastfeeding work. Was it like a personal experience or just how did that come about?
So, thank you. I really like that question because it always takes me back to 2012 when I had my set of twins. I had been a mom twice. I had a firstborn, a singleton, and then a secondborn, a singleton. And then I had a set of twins. I had been a nurse, a midwife. I had worked with moms, newborn babies. And I felt very much alone when I had the twins because it was a whole new can I say, dynamic
Mhm.
for me as a mom. And the reason why I felt so alone is whenever I was overwhelmed with the task of motherhood, especially breastfeeding, and the whole transition from hospital to home, the people around me felt like I was being too dramatic. And because they could not understand, you have been a mother
True.
before,
Yeah.
you are a nurse, you are a midwife. So if you say we go to the hospital and it is something you should be figuring out right here, what do you mean
Mm-hmm.
exactly? So I did not feel supported until I met another, I can call her comrade. I got a recommendation for another nurse who then became my mentor, who was already doing this. She's one of the pioneers of the Lamas, famous Lamas
Yeah.
program for
Okay.
childbirth education. Her name is Caroline. Hi, Carol. So she is the one who came to my home and walked me through the whole process of breastfeeding. She made me understand the whole the nitty gritties about breastfeeding that we never had a chance to learn in School of Nursing or midwifery.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is information that your regular doctor or midwife will not give you.
Okay.
And then the way she held the space for me really made me feel really seen and heard. And when I was done with that journey, I said, I want to do what you do. I want to support mothers. And now the gap of postpartum support was so glaring.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how I came into it. So I went back to school, took the necessary trainings, and yeah, that is how I ended up in this work. And I have never looked back. It is something I love doing because I feel like, had she not held space for me then,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it would have been like for me. So I always pay it forward by also giving information and holding space for new moms.
Thank you so much. I also started this podcast to be able to give information to other moms and also parents out there because I also had a similar experience. I was raising one child, yes, but I felt like there was not a lot of information out there for moms and for parents. I could read books, yes, that were on parenting and stuff like that, but for those people who don't read, or for those people who consume content through watching or listening, I wanted to give them that platform. And that's how Raising Rain came about. And I'm so inspired to see that there are also people out there who are also inspired and passionate about parenting and motherhood. And I'm glad you came on the show.
That's very inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah. So, for someone hearing about the Kenya Association of Breastfeeding for the first time, what kind of support do you offer mothers?
Um, so as a journey dawn, many other individuals came along. They have had the training. They are passionate about supporting breastfeeding, and probably out of their own experiences as well, they saw light came in through that crack, and they realized that their passion is in actually working and supporting new moms. So we are a network of providers who have been trained and are certified by different bodies, but with a common goal to support lactation and breastfeeding.
Okay.
So we came together and we registered an association, and this is Kenya Association for Breastfeeding.
Not of,
Not
sorry.
of, yes. So it's Kenya Association for Breastfeeding, otherwise referred to as CAB. And what we do is we protect, promote, and provide information regarding breastfeeding, because our mission is to have a healthy nation through raising healthy children, nutritionally healthy children, and even healthy mothers through the breastfeeding period, through breastfeeding technically.
Okay.
Yes.
And why do you think your work is important?
Our work is important because breastfeeding has a lot of benefits, not only for the mother, not only for the baby, but also for the mother, for the family, for the society where we live in. Because you realize that a well breastfed baby has less infections. They thrive better, and they have the advantage of getting antibodies, which are body protecting. They're body fighters, infection fighters in the body in the baby. It helps the babies to thrive. And that would mean that then we'd have a less sick nation, a less sick community, and even the consumption of alternative supplements that are available in the market will reduce, and that significantly reduces the carbon print that is left in the environment. So breastfeeding is wholesome. It not only heals it not only promotes the health of the baby, but it also promotes the health of the mother. And a healthy mother, a healthy baby is a healthy nation, because some of the other very important benefits of breastfeeding is the prevention. It prevents the reproductive organ cancers in moms.
Nice.
And you realize that currently the world is struggling with the burden of cancer in moms, and it's especially the reproductive organs. Breast cancer being the leading cancer in women, followed by cervical cancer, and then we have the ovarian cancers. And studies have shown that mothers who breastfeed exclusively for 6 months and continue breastfeeding for up to 2 years, they have a lesser risk of contracting these reproductive organ cancers.
Oh, interesting. Yes. And you also brought about an interesting part about breastfeeding and reducing the carbon footprint. I had never thought those two were even anywhere near each other. So that's quite interesting to hear.
Yeah, it preserves the environment, because then the alternative to breastfeeding, the recommended alternative is formula feed.
Yeah, formula.
And if you look at the waste that comes with the tins, the disposal, because they're not biodegradable,
True.
all that can contribute to the pollution of the environment.
Yeah.
And when you breastfeed, then you find that you use less of that. And of course,
Wow. Learn something new every day. So My next question would be, why do you think breastfeeding is presented as something that is effortless, yet so many mothers, new mothers, like struggle with breastfeeding?
Just like you and me, um, breastfeeding is the ideal way of feeding a newborn baby. That makes it natural.
Yeah.
But what we do not tell moms is that it is a skill that is learned both by the mother and the baby. The baby, while in the uterus, they do not feed through their mouth. They are nourished through the placenta.
Okay.
But their reflexes are developing while they're in there. When they're born, they now activate their suckle reflex, which will then activate their digestive system. And when they are now supposed to be brought to the breast, they are going to feed from their mouth for the first time. So it is something very strange to them. It is something very new to them. And the mother was also just nourishing the baby effortlessly through the placenta. So she is now tasked with this responsibility of finding a position that is ideal for her and ideal for the baby so that they can mutually enjoy the relationship of feeding through the breast, mother offering the breast to the baby's mouth, and then the baby starting the whole feeding process. So when there is no support in terms of showing the mother and giving her the skill, empowering the mother and positioning the baby properly to get that skill, you find that that mismatch is what causes the miss in breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about breastfeeding?
One, we have just mentioned that breastfeeding is natural. It will come naturally.
True.
It is natural, but it is a skill that is learned. So if mother and baby do not learn this skill, then the breastfeeding process will be very difficult. Another big misconception that people have around breastfeeding is that, especially with, I have seen this and I'm speaking from experience with working with young moms, is that if I breastfeed, then my breasts will sag. So it is a big concern because we still want to look good despite being moms, and we still want to nourish our children the best way we can, but we don't want to give or we don't want to lose how we look aesthetically. So whether you breastfeed or you don't, once pregnancy happens from around 16 weeks, the breasts begin to change. So whether you choose to breastfeed or you don't breastfeed, the breasts are still going to sag. Another big misconception around breastfeeding is that breast milk is not enough if you have either multiple babies or if you have a big baby. And you are compelled to supplement because the baby is not getting enough. The truth about it is that when babies are born, they're coming from an environment that is very much controlled in the uterus. The temperature is constant, the darkness is constant because they're not seeing light. They are being just swayed because when the mother moves is when they feel the sway. So they're coming to an outside of uterus environment where they're actually held by hands, and we know that touch causes stimulation. So that can rub them in a particular way. And then they're coming into an environment where they're not constantly nourished. So their sugar level is not at an optimal point at every given time. They're coming here and suddenly they're feeling hungry. So they could cry. And feeding would solve that. Even the touch, when they come closer to the mother, because they're closer to the mother's heart, God in his wisdom put the breasts right near the heart, such that when the baby comes when the baby comes to the mother's breast, the heartbeat helps regulate this baby, and then they keep quiet. So when they're quiet, the mother would interpret that they're feeding, that is the reason why they're quiet. Or even all of us would interpret that they're feeding, that is the reason why they're quiet. So you're constantly told, keep feeding the baby, even when they're crying because suddenly they have clothes on their body and it is a strange feeling for them, or they have a diaper under their bum and it's a strange feeling for them. So a big misconception that we have is that sometimes breast milk is not enough. So when baby cries, what do? We feel overwhelmed, and then we offer an alternative feed. Then they fall asleep. They're not sleeping because because they're now sorted.
Mhm.
They're only sleeping because the supply of oxygen, you know about when you're full,
Yeah, when you're full.
oxygen is transferred to your stomach to help in digestion, and that would
True.
cause drowsiness even in an adult.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how much more drowsiness it would cause in a
In a
child,
baby.
and then they go to sleep.
Mhm.
So because they're settled, you're like,
Yeah,
got
that
it.
it
I
was
cracked
hunger,
that one. It was
yeah.
hunger. So you keep feeding, overfeeding, overfeeding continuously, and then it becomes a habit. You find that now probably your body might not match the
Yeah,
demand
true.
eventually.
Wow. That's another way of looking at it. I've never actually looked at it like that, of all these things that can make a baby uncomfortable, and we thinking that feeding it. I myself was like, every time my baby cried, I was like, they must be hungry, they must be hungry. So I was always trying to feed them. But I didn't try to feed anything else apart from breast milk.
Mhm.
For the first 6 months, he was purely breastfed, but I can attest that every time he cried, even my husband was like, I think this baby is hungry, and brings him to feed.
Yeah.
So people, it's not always the case. So how can we be able to tell when it's hunger or when it's not hunger, or how can we have a schedule to feed the baby,
Mhm.
not only just when they cry?
Mhm. I really like working with this pair of earrings
Mhm.
anytime I'm talking about breastfeeding, and I'll just remove one to
Mhm.
explain
Okay.
how it all begins and how it goes. So these are like the model sizes of a newborn baby's,
Okay.
a baby's stomach size.
Mhm.
So when a baby is born, their stomach size is this small. It can only take 5 ml of breast milk at
Okay.
any given time. This is because when they're in the uterus, they're taking in, they're being nourished through the placenta.
Mhm.
They take in what they need, but the waste does not come out. So the waste is always seated in the baby's stomach. Now, once the baby is born and they start feeding through their mouth, like we said, the digestive system is at that point activated.
Yeah.
And then they will start now. When they take the milk through the mouth, the first milk of a mother that is made is called colostrum. It has a very beautiful laxative effect that once it is taken, it is very nutritious and it gives baby all the nutrients that the baby needs, including the antibodies.
Mhm.
So once that colostrum is taken, it is going to soften the waste that is in the baby's stomach, and that is what usually comes off at that murky,
The
dark,
black, yeah.
slimy waste
Mhm.
that the baby removes. So 5 to 7 ml day one, day two. And then because the baby has been removing the waste every time they take breast milk, the stomach size then increases to this second ring,
Okay.
which is between 10 to 15 ml. And that would then lead the mother's body to produce more milk to try and catch up with the
stomach.
demand, because our bodies are very efficient. It will not produce so much that the baby cannot consume, because where is it going to go?
Yeah.
Our body does not reabsorb the milk that it has
True.
produced. So you find that the color of the poop at that point also changes. It changes from that murky one, the sticky one, to a lighter green one that is not as sticky as the day one, day two.
Mhm.
So this would happen maybe day three, and then day four or day five. The stomach size is now bigger, and the mother will be producing as much. And now she will be feeling like, I'm actually feeling full.
Okay.
And now she'll be feeling the difference in her breast, and the milk will be more. That is called the mature milk, and it is a lot that is required. So it will be feeling like 30 ml of milk into the baby's stomach. So how do you tell when your baby is hungry? They will show you the cues. First of all, the number one cue is usually the time. What time did you feed your baby last? If I fed my baby at 7 o'clock and it's maybe 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, then I would figure out that in that time, because breast milk, one of its very superior qualities is that it's very easy to digest in the baby's stomach. So in 2 hours, my baby is probably has processed all that milk and digested it, and even they have shown you by eliminating waste, you can bring them back to the breast every 2 hours.
Okay.
If you're using time, or if you intend to use time.
Mhm.
So every 2 to 3 hours you can bring them to the breast.
Okay.
The second cue that the babies show is that they would put their hand in their mouth. So when they are bringing their hand to their mouth, it's a signal that they probably want to eat.
Okay.
So you could give them, you could offer them the breasts at that point. Number three would be, of course, a cry.
Mm-hmm.
And that cry usually comes when they have shown you enough cues of a yawn, they have tried fidgeting, and by the time they're crying, they're so frustrated. But they cry anyway because that is their means, that is their way of communicating.
Okay.
So you can look at the time, you can look at the hand in the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and you can look at the other sign, which is the yawning and the fidgeting, and of course the crying. Now that is the last stage, which is
Okay.
usually frustration.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the what are what are some of the challenges that a new mom might encounter while breastfeeding their baby?
The most common challenge is positioning. Baby, like the whole skill of breastfeeding, positioning to put the baby on the breast. That is usually the most common challenge for moms, which then leads to babies just getting the nipple and not getting the whole breast. In I mean, the a lot of breast tissue into their mouth
Mm-hmm.
to lead them to suckle the milk out of the
The
breast,
breast.
and that would lead to painful breastfeeding session, cracked nipples that can be infected and lead to infections such as mastitis, which is just inflammation of the breast tissues. Another thing that is very common is breast engorgement when moms do not completely empty their breast during a feed.
Mm-hmm.
And with every subsequent feed, more milk is produced, and then this milk is blocked. The ducts through which the milk flow out, it gets blocked, and that can lead to engorgement. Like mother is really feeling full, and the outlets are blocked and
Oh,
not able to get the milk out. Those are some of the common challenges that we encounter with breastfeeding.
okay. And why do some mothers worry that they are not producing enough milk? And how is that? I know that's a common fear. What should mothers know about that fear of not being able to produce enough milk, or how can they even tell if they're producing enough milk for the baby?
Thank you. That is very common, yeah. So when mothers know how the sizes, the stomach sizes of the babies changes from day one, day 0 to day 5,
Mhm.
they will be more contented to know how much they are giving the babies and they're offering to the babies. So number 2 would be the number of diapers that they use. On day 1, technically you just need one wet diaper. And wet, I mean the one that has pee.
Mhm.
You can have several that has the poo, because that is waste that is continuously being eliminated.
Mhm.
But if you can get just one diaper with enough pee that is heavy enough, then you are good to go. Day 2, you just need 2 diapers, 2 wet diapers. Day 3, you need 3 wet diapers. Day 4, you need 4 wet diapers. Because of the way the stomach sizes is increasing, it means that the baby's consumption is also increasing. So that is the reason why we're saying the number of diapers that you need, that you can count through the day. So day 5 going forward, if you can get 4 wet diapers, then it's good enough. So how do you know? Because we use different brands of diapers. Some are superior, some are not. Some moms are using the cloth napkins. So you being in the mothers, every mother is going to be unique, and you're going to counsel them uniquely as they are.
Mhm.
You'd want to know which type of diaper they use, and you demonstrate by just wetting that diaper with water so that they understand what a wet diaper looks like.
Okay.
But with technology nowadays, we have diapers that come with wetness indicators.
Mhm.
So you could just check from that wetness indicator. If it turns blue, then you know that that's a wet diaper.
Oh,
That counts for a wet diaper.
okay.
Secondly, when mothers are feeding their babies, there's a way you feel different on your breast. When you bring the
Lighter.
baby to the breast and the breast was heavier and a little hard on touch, by the time the baby is done, it's feeling lighter and soft on touch, then you know that an exchange has happened. So your baby has fed well. Another indicator is those clinic visits, when you're told return after 2 weeks, first thing that they do is to weigh the baby. If your baby has regained their birth weight or surpassed the birth weight, then you know you're doing a good thing. When you go for continuous child wellness clinics, the baby will be weighed and you will know how your baby is doing. Another place that I like encouraging moms to look at is the baby, the dress, the outfit the baby left the hospital with. So you can compare. When we left hospital, all this was wobbly, it was all excess, but it's now fitting in very well. The baby is filling up and filling in that cloth well. So those are some of the 4 ways to tell when your baby is getting enough. And when you feel overwhelmed, sometimes that is when you're doing the most. All the time, that is when you're doing the most. So you just need that assurance that, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, and I remember reading somewhere that breastfeeding a baby, especially if you're doing it exclusively, you could, it's like running half a marathon every time you breastfeed your baby because it takes up so much energy.
It does.
So breastfeeding is not really an easy thing, and people really do take it lightly.
It is not.
Because it's just that woman sitting over there feeding her baby, but it's a lot happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so how much do stress, exhaustion, and sleep deprivation and mental health affect breastfeeding mom?
Okay, so this will take me to 3 things three components that can lead to successful breastfeeding. We refer to them commonly as the 3 B's. And the first B is the brain, which is the mother's brain. The second B is the breast. And the third B is the baby. So the moment any of these B's is either not in the cycle or it is pulled out of the cycle, then the mother's state of production will reduce, and this can subsequently affect the mother's mental space. How does breastfeeding affect the mother's mental space? During breastfeeding, moms produce a certain hormone, prolactin, that is supposed to bring the milk now to the breast, and oxytocin, which is supposed to eject it. And oxytocin is also a feel-good hormone for the mom. What it also does is that it reduces the stress hormone in the mother's body. Because every time a mother achieves that successful breastfeeding session, it boosts their feel-good levels and it will suppress the stress levels. So how does sleep deprivation affect breast milk production and mother's mental health? It goes to the brain. The mother's brain is on overdrive completely and totally. Even with sleep, the mother, because they have just had a baby and there's a sudden surge, like a sudden drop in the hormones that were supporting pregnancy, in the hormone that was triggering and sustaining the labor and delivery, the mother's emotional state is usually dysregulated, very much so. And that can lead to emotional breakdown and even what is commonly referred to as postpartum anxiety that can lead to postpartum depression. So if it is coupled with lack of sleep, then it means that the stress levels also increase. And with that dysregulation, then it can throw any strong woman off balance because then they're not in control anymore. Yeah. Wow. So when any of these elements is reduced, when the baby is not continuously put on the breast to completely empty the breast, then the brain gets a negative feedback. And the negative feedback that the brain gets is like, yes, we have a baby, but this baby is not taking much. And because we are an efficient producer, reduce the production. So the more you bring the baby to the breast, the more the production. It works like a Kaizen kind of. So the more you bring the baby to the breast, the more the breast is empty, the more the production in the subsequent feed. So when mother is not well rested, the brain is affected. It's one of the B's that has been withdrawn from the cycle. The baby and the breast might not achieve a successful production of milk. When the baby is not brought to the breast and mother is just pumping probably, or mother is delaying the feed for long and not continuously bringing the baby to the breast, then the body gets the negative feedback. We don't need much, produce just a little because this baby needs just a little. And then the production keeps going down, down, down. So, what you need for a successful production, for a good mental state, is to bring the baby to the breast every 2 to 3 hours. In 24 hours, you need to have your baby on the breast between 8 to 12 times, and not for a period shorter than maybe one episode of a show, which is usually like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But we say some babies also are fast exchangers.
Yeah.
They feed really well, really fast. So look at your baby. But if you must use time, use an episode of a session of a show that runs for maybe 30 to 40 minutes. Allow the child to be there for 30 to 40 minutes. And if they're still not looking contented, if they're still looking like they're not full, put them on the other breast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And what would you say to a mom whose breastfeeding journey is not going how they expected? Because for most of us, especially for me, I thought um I'm just gonna go put my baby on the breast, everything's gonna be fine. But I also really struggled with breastfeeding because the first time the nurse gave me the baby, she was like, hold the baby like this. There's a way, she showed me how even to put the breast inside the baby's mouth. But the baby was not suckling because I don't think he had already figured out how to suckle and stuff. And I also suffered with cracked nipples, that some things that I didn't expect. I thought I was really prepared for this, but the journey wasn't as smooth as I thought it would be. So for someone out there like me, what would you say to them?
First of all, hugs for cracked nipples. I know how it feels. It's the
Yeah,
breast is very sensitive at that point.
true.
So a bad start does not mean a bad breastfeeding journey. All you need to do is call for help and look for help, and help will come your way, and it
Yeah.
will be okay.
Okay.
When you keep going in the wrong direction, you will get lost, because then you will have a very bad experience that you will take a bit of time to recover from. So, number one is, during your antenatal visit, prepare for your breastfeeding journey during pregnancy or even before pregnancy. Right now, the World Health Organization recommends that every pregnant woman goes to the clinic 8 times before they have their baby. Of the 8 times, we encourage that 4 times, please talk to your midwife, talk to your lactation specialist, talk to a lactation specialist in the space that you're going about breastfeeding. Because the reality versus the expectations, they are such a mismatch. Your expectation is that it will all go smoothly, but the reality is that you two are doing it for the first time. Unless you know how to do it, you might not know what to do. So, for a mom who is struggling right now, I would say all is not lost. We are sorry that probably you did not have the information, but now you can always reach out to the Kenya Association for Breastfeeding through the website breastfeedingkenya.org, and you can book an appointment. You will be assigned, depending on where you are, you may be assigned a counselor to talk to you. You may be assigned someone to come and do a home visit where you are, so that you are literally walked through the journey.
Okay.
It's also a beautiful thing that most of the private hospitals in Nairobi right now, currently, have also invested in lactation specialists. So, once mothers have newborn babies, there's always a lactation specialist. There is, in some institutions, a lactation specialist who will work with the mothers and will show them what they need to do. But also, there are the lactation specialists in our network who are outside, even not working in the hospital, who can be contacted for support. And not only in Nairobi, we are spread all over the country. So we have members in other counties in the country as well.
Wow, interesting. So help is available. You don't have to struggle alone. If you do need to, you can reach out to the Kenya Breastfeeding uh,
Association.
Association, and we'll be giving their contacts and their website and everything at the end of the show. So please don't worry if Akinyi mentioned it a little bit too fast. We'll repeat it again. So on to our next question. There's always like pressure online for parents about exclusive breastfeeding. How can mothers protect themselves from that guilt and comparison? Because I've met mothers who really didn't have milk to feed their baby. They were willing, yes, to breastfeed their baby, but they didn't have the milk or they had really low supply. So, how can they protect themselves against the guilt and comparison from other moms?
I am tempted to say that online is not a real place.
True, true, true.
And to justify that is because we bring our best to the online space. We do not show the bad, we do not show the ugly. We do not even show where the journey began. And if you have been a mother before, if you have tried expressed breast milk before, you will agree with me that day 1, day 2, you can get only 20 ml out of an expression session of 30 minutes. The next day you might get 30, another time you might get only 10. However, the more you do it, the better the feedback to the brain. The brain will get a positive feedback because the brain will not know whether the baby is the one who has emptied the breast or it's a pump that has emptied the breast. The signal that it gets is that the consumption was fully emptied, exhausted, so we need to produce more for the subsequent feed because that is how it works. So I would encourage the mom who is looking at social media that with a pinch of salt. It is not that beautiful. It is not that rosy for everyone. And you too can do it. You too can get there where you express as much milk, fill your pitcher, and feed it to your baby. But if you're feeding your baby, you're doing an amazing job. Because what is the need of expressing all that milk and having it in the refrigerator when you have your baby who needs to eat it? Drink from your breast to thrive. So just keep going, keep going. Your journey is very unique. Your journey is very specific. Just do you.
True.
You will get there.
Amazing. So, how can partners and maybe family members support breastfeeding moms emotionally and also practically?
I like that question. So, emotionally is not to bombard moms with a crying baby all the time. Because that has been our practice, that has been our norm. That anytime the baby is crying, the first question has always been, where is the mother? Or what time is the mother coming back? That is putting too much pressure on the mom. So practically how you can support this mom, emotionally, let us talk about emotionally how to support the mom, is number 1, to look at her and where she is at. In the morning when the mom wakes up, ask her how the night was. Did she have a difficult night? Would she like to just do some like a crash or it's called a power nap? Would she like to take a power nap that you can take the baby away and just go and walk the baby? Because babies, once they're out in motion, they can easily fall asleep. Can you take the baby away so that the mother can get a bit of power nap and just some rest? Can you stop pressuring the mother all the time? The baby, the baby, the baby. They completely lose track of any other thing other than the baby. And can we also encourage them? When a mother has sat down and has expressed milk and has 10 ml at the end of an expression session, can we just give them a clap and not say, hey, mine was, try to compare with yours or for your friend, or just try to make them feel really uneasy about it. So another way of practically supporting the moms, other than taking away the baby and allowing them to have their rest, is making for them nutritious diet. Understand what they want. I know our society has its perceived foods that bring milk or that can cause the milk production to increase, but those are just that. They are perceptions. Can we give the mother foods which are nutritious and foods that are for her appetite? If she says, I would like to have XYZ, do not tell her, Apana, it's njahe that brings milk. Maybe they detest that black beans completely.
They've had it every day.
They had it at every meal. So can we have mothers have their nutritious diet that is well balanced out? Can we have moms nourished very well? Can we have them hydrated? A mom is seated with you. They have been feeding the baby. Maybe you've sat together 20, 30 minutes. You have not even seen her take a glass of water. Can you offer some of these things? A glass of water, a cup of tea. Can we offer to take away the baby to just allow them to breathe for a minute, to even go to the bathroom and shower and take their time in the
Yeah.
bathroom? Can we once in a while allow them to sleep in and just have the baby away from them for even 3 hours so that they can get a block sleep? Because some babies are noisy sleepers and they cannot allow the mother to sleep. By noisy sleeping, I mean they make sounds of
Yeah.
and that cannot allow the mother to sleep. So can we just do something practical, like taking away this baby, taking the baby to another room and looking after that baby the period that the mother is sleeping in? And also, yeah, can we accompany them to the clinic? Can we get them lactation support when we realize that they are actually struggling?
True.
And when you go to visit a new mother, don't ask them, how can I help you? Look around and find something to do to just get it off their list. Make their meal, clean their house, fold their laundry or do the laundry. You can go shopping for them. Something really practical that can get just one item off the list for them.
Okay.
Yes.
And when it comes to workplaces, how can work spaces better support moms so that they don't feel like they're struggling between work, being a mom, and also their own sanity?
I like that question because for a long time, women have been made to choose between parenting, mothering, and career progression.
True.
But it is a beautiful thing that the government of Kenya has a bill under the Health Act that allows, it actually compels every employer to have a breastfeeding space for lactating moms. And further to that, it allows the mothers, other than the regular breaks that are given at work, 1 hour off for just expressing breast milk so that they can sustain their breast milk supply once they go back to work. So this 1 hour that is protected by the government, by the law for breastfeeding moms, they can choose to take it whichever way they want. They can take it in blocks of 20 minutes each so that they have 3 expressing sessions in a day, or in a day of work, which is 8 to 5, or they can do 30 minutes, 2 blocks of 30 minutes each. And this is separate from the regular break
Or
that
the lunch break,
the lunch
tea
break and the tea break. This is another whole protected hour. So sensitizing women on their right as breastfeeding moms, on their right to this 1 hour, empowering institutions or workplaces through the Human Resource Department about this law and this bill, this Health Act that protects the breastfeeding mom so that they can have time to protect their milk supply.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of advocacy work needs to happen in the country concerning breastfeeding and support, the kind of support that breastfeeding moms need?
Advocacy is already happening, like what we're doing here. Sharing this information out there would help moms know that the basics about breastfeeding. Secondly, advocacy. We usually, every year, the world commemorates World Breastfeeding Week from the 1st of August to the 7th of August. So during that week, there's a lot of rapid initiatives in matters breastfeeding around the hospitals, around the health institutions, and even around workplaces, just to sensitize more workers, more policy makers on the importance of breastfeeding, the laws of the land, and what is rightfully moms and what they need to provide. So that is the type of advocacy work that is ongoing. But even at individual level, we may need to now pay forward, like if I got support in regards to my breastfeeding journey. If I know another mom who is expecting a baby, or I meet another mom who is having a challenge in their breastfeeding journey, I could then refer them. If I'm not able to support them, I could refer them to where the support really is.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the spaces is the Kenya Association for Breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you also for the work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I believe you've been able to support a lot of women through this journey.
We have, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So for a mom who's chosen to combination feed, pump their milk, or stop breastfeeding early, what would you want them to hear?
Um, from the Kenya Association for Breastfeeding, we are trained specialists, and we would like you to talk to us so that we can understand where you're coming from. And if it is salvageable, we could then work with you and empower you by providing you with information and practical ways of how to go about it, even the stopping of breastfeeding, the stopping of lactation. How then do you stop the milk from flowing? How then do you not get engorged and uncomfortable? So we go through the whole journey with you. And for the ones who want to continue and are struggling, we also walk with you that journey. And the ones who are pumping and mix feeding, as in pumping and then coming, bringing the baby back to the breast, we say keep going, because if you are at work, then when you come back home, immediately we say that bring the baby back to the breast so that there's a natural stimulation.
Yeah.
If you intend to continue, don't just do pump, 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 because that's too artificial. We need a natural stimulation. We say pump, 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 but always bring the baby to the breast anytime you're with the baby or you're near the baby so that the stimulation can keep going and it doesn't stop.
What would you like people to know or understand better about breastfeeding moms?
Breastfeeding moms are very vulnerable moms. Breastfeeding moms are giving so much more than you can imagine. Breastfeeding moms need support. And like you said in your introduction, did you know, in the Did You Know segment, a mother who is supported very well will mean that it's a household that is well supported, it's a community that is well supported, and we shall have a properly balanced nation when we have mothers supported well during the breastfeeding period.
And for our last question of the day, if there's a mom listening and they feel overwhelmed, exhausted, isolated, and she feels like she's failing, what would you like her to know?
You got this, mommy. You got this. You have come so far that exhaustion is as a result of something you have been doing. You probably just need the right community to support you. And we say, get out, go to your doctor, go to your midwife, go to your child welfare clinic, the wellness clinic, and you will be directed. There are very many support groups for breastfeeding moms. There are lactation specialists if you like one-on-one support. There are communities in the one that I said is not a real place. Online, there are communities that can also offer you support with positive support, not necessarily the pressure, the negative pressure that can cause you pain.
Yeah.
So yes, ask for help. When you ask, you will be directed appropriately, and there's help out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Akinyi, for an amazing episode.
Thank
I
you.
have walked away with so much information. Information I wish I knew even before becoming a mom, but I plan on being a mom again, so I will carry forward that information.
Amazing.
And for our listeners as well, I'm pretty sure you've gotten a lot of gems from this episode. Feel free to share the episode with other moms and other families so that we can all walk through this journey together. Before we close, I'm going to give a few closing points and then I'm going to let Akinyi tell us a little bit about her association and where you can find them, and then we'll wrap up the show. So, for the closing points, fed is important, but so is the mother. Breastfeeding journeys look different for everyone. Support changes everything, just like we said in the Did You Know segment. And also, finally, mothers deserve help, not judgment. If you see someone struggling, don't judge them. Find a way you could help them, either through hooking them up with people like Akinyi and her association, or sharing this episode to let them know that they're not alone and there's ways to help improve the breastfeeding journey. Offer that support. And now, Akinyi, some closing points about you and where people can find you online, your website, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that there are individuals who do this to try and help in the advocacy work that we are doing. So we are the Kenya Association for Breastfeeding. You can find us on our website is breastfeedingke.org. When you go to the website, you'll find you will be directed in the homepage. You will get a contact where you can call. You can book a session. It will also direct you to, you can send an email, and then we shall get back to you. And also, we are all over the country. Do not worry if you're not in Nairobi, though most of us are in Nairobi, but we are all over the country. We can reach you wherever you are. Do not fear. And also to the healthcare workers who could be listening to this and would like to join the association, because we know that the work is a lot and we are not even enough. You can also go to the website breastfeedingke.org, and you can fill in. There's a form that you can fill in if you want to be a member of the association. It will direct you to the documents you need to submit just to verify that you are trained and you are up to the task of offering the services. And we also have over time, every now and again, when we have trainings for healthcare workers, we also do advertise where the trainings are, the costs that it involves, and how long the training takes. So we are also on Instagram. You can find us on Breastfeeding Kenya on Instagram and on Facebook, Breastfeeding Kenya.
Okay.
So we shall also share our logo and it will be displayed
Yeah,
on the page here.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Akinyi, again and again and again. And you're
Thank you.
welcome. You owe me another episode on on raising more than
Multiples.
just, yeah, or raising multiples.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you for all the love, for all the support. Please subscribe. Your subscription helps to push our content forward, and that means a lot more people get to watch these insightful episodes. With that, bye for now. See you on the next one.